And in the morning, long before daylight, he got up and went out to a deserted place, and there he prayed. And Simon Peter and those who were with him followed him, pursuing him eagerly and hunting him out. And they found him and said to him, "Everyone is looking for you." Hi, I'm Gary, and you're watching 7 Minutes in the Word. Ever since the deliverance of a demon-possessed man from his tormentor, Jesus has been besieged by the sick, the infirmed, and the demon-possessed, seeking for healing and for release. His awesome teaching in the Capernaum synagogue seems to have been overshadowed by his amazing miracles. Mark 1:29 through 34 says, "And immediately he left the synagogue and entered the house of Simon and Andrew with James and John. Now Simon's mother-in-law lay ill with a fever, and immediately they told him about her. And he came and took her by the hand and lifted her up, and the fever left her, and she began to serve them. That evening at sunset they brought to him all who were sick and oppressed by demons. And the whole city was gathered together at the door. And he healed many who were sick with various diseases, and cast out many demons. And he would not permit the demons to speak, because they knew him." You know how it is after church, or maybe after work or after school, and you want to go home or maybe go out with some friends to someplace to relax and decompress. Well, you get that idea, that feeling from verse 29, that Jesus was going to Peter's house for a Sabbath's afternoon of rest. And like so many times, something unexpected happened. Peter's mother-in-law was sick with a fever, and the people in the house asked Jesus if he could help her. This was a very personal healing. There was no crowd, there was no fanfare. It was just Jesus and the lady and the few people who were in the house. And Jesus took the lady's hand and he lifted her up, and she was instantly and completely healed. The mention of her immediately serving those who were there in the house was not meant to demean her or relegate her to being subservient, but rather it shows that her healing was complete. She did not require a long period of convalescence. She was completely and totally healed by the touch of Jesus' hand. The second part of the story is about the crowd that gathered at the door. Word of what happened in the synagogue, and possibly of the healing of Peter's mother-in-law, had spread throughout the city. Waiting until after the end of the Sabbath, people started bringing the sick and the infirmed and the demon-possessed to Jesus. And he healed the sick and freed the demon-possessed. Now, he could have just waved his hand and cured all of the people and cast out all the demons, but that's not what he did. Luke, in fact, tells us that he touched every one of them with his hands. It was personal. He took a personal interest in each and every person who came to him. The following morning, Jesus sought some solitude and went to a deserted place to pray. In Mark, the first chapter, verses 35 through 39, we read this: "And rising up early in the morning, while it was still dark, he departed and went out to a desolate place, and there he prayed. And Simon and those who were with him searched for him. And they found him and said to him, 'Everyone is looking for you.' And he said to them, 'Let us go on to the next towns, that I may preach there also, for that is why I came out.' And he went throughout all Galilee, preaching in their synagogues and casting out demons." On 3 occasions in the Gospel of Mark, we are told that Jesus went out to a desolate place to pray. This time, following the feeding of the 5,000, and in the Garden of Gethsemane. All three were times that represented opposition to or a distraction from Jesus' mission. John tells us in John, the 6th chapter, verse 15, that after the feeding of the 5,000, the people were about to take Jesus by force and make him their king. And of course, in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus struggled with going to the cross. On this occasion in Capernaum, Jesus' fame and popularity threatened to distract him from his main mission, to proclaim the gospel of God. Even Jesus needed some alone time with the Father to recenter himself. We too need this alone time with God. This is an important part of our walk with God that we should not neglect. The forces against Jesus come even from his disciples, like later on when Peter rebukes Jesus when he predicts his death. And Jesus said to him, "Get behind me, Satan." On this occasion, Peter and those with him were trying to drag Jesus back to the crowd. While the NIV softens what the disciples did, the Amplified paraphrase provides a more accurate reading. And Simon Peter and those who were with him followed him, pursuing him eagerly and hunting him out. This implies a desire to control Jesus rather than to follow him. But Jesus was recentered. He knew what he must do. He said, "Let us go on to the next towns, that I may preach there also, for that is why I came out." Not even healing the sick nor casting out demons was more important than preaching the gospel of God. That was his mission. That is why he came. In his parallel account, Luke provides us with these words from Jesus. "I must preach the good news of the kingdom of God to the other towns as well, for I was sent for this purpose." We too must remember God's purpose for our lives. As disciples of Jesus, we too are commissioned to teach the gospel of God to a lost world. Thank you for watching today. Please give us a thumbs up and press that subscribe button. And do come back again next week for another 7 Minutes in the Word.